Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, what we have here is an update to the Carmelo Anthony case, and it seems like a gag order has been issued along with a protection order. So, yeah, things are getting pretty crazy in this Carmelo Anthony case, and it's to be expected because I think after his father completely going balls to the walls and insanity takes, it kind of goes to show on what's been going on. Not to mention the actual lawsuit indicating with the uh, Charles and White, things are getting quickly heat up. So without further ado, my friends, let's get directly into this. So what we have here is from the Daily Dallas New Morning News saying, "What is a gag order? Here's what to know about order issued in a Carmelo Anthony murder case." Collin County judge issued a gag order this week in Carmelo Anthony's murder trial, prohibiting public statements from being made about the scale outside of the courtroom. With a substantial national media attention on the case, the order was issued to protect Anthony's right to a fair trial, the order said. So, what is a gag order? And what does this mean for Anthony's trial? Blah, 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 blah. Doesn't matter. We know what a gag order is. It pretty much prevents people from speaking about certain things during the actual court case. It's not really that difficult to understand, but nonetheless. It says a gag order is a judicial order typically issued by a judge or court in a criminal case, which prevents parties in the case from speaking about the case publicly. Yeah, and normally this wouldn't be an issue if if his father would stop opening his bloody mouth about it. But that seems to constantly be a thing. And I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't think Drew Anthony is gonna be able to not talk about anything about this. I think he's gonna talk about this a lot, and in the foreseeable future. Now, obviously, Carmelo Anthony probably most likely going to talk about this because a lot of the statements, a lot of the things that has been going on is not due to him, but to the people around him. Parties in the case typically include the defendants and their attorneys, as well as the state's attorneys working on the case, witnesses, courtroom staff, and law enforcement officers who worked on the case. It says, in the case of the order issued in Anthony's case, it applies to all parties in the case and their attorneys, any eyewitnesses, etc., etc. Why are the gag orders issued, etc., etc.? That's here and there. So essentially, this is what's been going on here. So, yeah, we're going to go into this here where Seraphios goes a bit more in depth on this actual situation. So the proposal for the protective order was submitted to Judge Roach yesterday, and today the judge signed off to protect Frisco ISD students and their parents from having their private information exposed to the public. That is a very strong reason why they would want to have this out. So, because again, here's the reason why they do this, right? Or rather, why they're doing this in particular case. Because we know that Drew Anthony and a lot of these so-called Carmelo Anthony supporters, right? They'll go out and try to drag these people's names out of the mud. And then what happens is when the students go and do something like this and they get their information exposed, this will allow the Carmelo Anthony nut jobs to go and harass or target these students' families, including the students themselves, to make for other problems to occur. This is actually a very smart move by Judge Roach because this actually prevents this from happening. Now, will this happen? Maybe potentially. Maybe some things get leaked. Probably so. Especially Drew Anthony. He has a huge problem about this. Especially him contacting Sarah Fields. He says, I'm thrilled to have contributed to this effort. After all the challenges, this is a significant win. My inclusive post about Frisco ISD and the email sent to the parents, which gave them almost no time to respond, was the first highlight these issues. While it's a bit disappointing to see local news, CBS and WFFA outlets report on this without crediting me as the journalist who exposed Frisco's IED's shortcomings, I'm trying to focus on the positive. The information is out there and we achieved our goal. Yes, that is the important thing. The order will seal all records of P2 students' information, and it will be restricted to attorneys' eyes only, not investigators or anyone else without judge's permission. So you have this here to where the Commons Protective Order has been issued, and there's a gag order set 728. So and 729. So yeah. That's huge. So again, she goes on to say here, just as I suspected would happen, misinformation is being spread about what this gag order means from Judge Roach. The judge presiding over Carmelo Anthony's case will allow me to clear things up. First, I'm happy to say that Judge Roach took time out of his busy schedule this afternoon to handle this matter. The prosecution and the defense were both in agreement, and Frisco ISD has requested a copy of the orders to send them to the parents to make them aware that their children's information will be protected. The order specific to the minor's private info will be available by tomorrow. Thanks to the private attorney for making this happen. Activists have sparked fear in many parents over this matter, and their fears are being squashed. As far as the GAG order goes, allow me to explain what it means after talking extensively with experts on the matter. The GAG order is to prevent anyone involved in the case from talking about publicly in ways that could bias the trial and make it unfair. So we already know what the GAG order does, right? So it says here, the media, myself included, is not affected by this. The media can still submit open records, requests for public court records related to the case, though the court system or the district clerk's office. The GAG order in this document restricts covered persons such as parties, attorneys, witnesses, law enforcement, and court staff from making certain extrajudicial statements publicly, like commenting on evidence, credibility, or jury matters that could prejudice the trial. However, it does not seal the case or broadly prohibit access to existing public records, such as court filings, hearing schedules, or procedural documents. I hope this was helpful, and again, when I have the documents from the court, I have asked for them as of today, and when I have the filing regarding the sealing of students' private information, I will release them to the public. So, what it is that, like I said before, this was just to protect the students from having all their information being released and, having the far left and Carmelo Anthony activists go after them. So, where's a bit more to this as well? We have this here from Sarah Fields saying, exclusive and encouraging update. Carmelo Anthony case, actions have been taken to seal private info of minors, and she goes a bit more in depth of what this is. Last week, I exclusively obtained an email sent by Frisco ISD to a large number of parents, informing them that they had less than 5 days to file a motion and or notice of hearing to object to the release of their children's personal and identifiable information to the Anthony family's attorney and the Collin County courts. This is something that I reported about a few days ago about the situation. It says this email was a result of a subpoena sent by the defense, Carmelo Anthony's attorney, Mike Howard. Howard requested information which included full names, dates of birth, addresses, parents' names, and contact information for those who attended the track meet at Trookendale Stadium on April 2nd, 2025. I reported on these subpoenas several weeks ago, meaning the school has received these subpoenas well before the date of the email that was sent to the parents. Frisco ISD gave the parents little to zero time to act, placing dozens of students' private info at risk of being obtained through public record requests and placed in the hands of violent and ill-willed activists on social media who have already spread false narratives about the Metcalfs. The incident itself, and me, a reporter on this case, this has resulted in doxing, serious threats, and swatting. Remember, as I said before, that this was an ongoing thing with these Carmelo Anthony people, that they were constantly doing this type of thing and what have you, and it's just been an issue. It's just a huge problem. This has, as I said now, this shuts that down. Many parents expressed their frustration, some messaging me and say they didn't even know about the email that was sent during summer vacation, and one parent who was involved in the case in a different manner even said that they received a separate email that only gave them 24 hours to respond. See, this is what I was talking about on how slimy this actual lawyer has been. Like, he only gives them a limited amount of days, and some parents, apparently for this one, only received it like about a day ago. That's crazy. Crazy. Fortunately, my reporting information provided for an attorney reached out who it needed to. On Friday, I was told of an emergency hearing scheduled for this morning. Monday, the 28th, I purposefully did not report on this publicly until today, after the hearing had already taken place, to avoid bad actors from attempting to sabotage or spread any misinformation about the matter. That's correct, because these people will do anything to do that. According to the one parent who did obtain a private attorney, a motion was filed to seal the records. Both the defense and the prosecution did agree to this motion. According to the attorney, all students will subsequently benefit from this. According to my sources, the state and the defense have worked out details to seal all the records of the students who were at the track meet, who made statements to law enforcement. The motion specifically acknowledged the fact that both the Metcalf family and the judge have experienced doxing and swatting. Bill Werski, first assistant district attorney, is working on making all of this more holistic. This way, the Anthony family can no longer use any information they receive to target innocent people with the use of bad actors and activists for the Carmelo camp. According to my sources, the defense already had all the information requested in the subpoenas. Sending such subpoenas when the acknowledged requested was already known is intentional. For me, this was an encouraging win. When children are threatened and are involved, this is where my journalism meets with my previous and ongoing career in parent-child advocacy. Do not mess with Texas kids. So yeah, this is huge, right? And as I said before, this was something that was very much needed. And the point being is here, guys, is that this is the defense attorney plan to do this was completely foiled. It was destroyed. It was squashed like it should have been. And now these kids can speak out because, again, we all know that the Carmelo camp, these activists, these people would take these kids' information and go and harass them and even send either threats or they would send people to their homes, etc., because they have done this before. This is not beneath them. So that being said, now that this is squashed, they can't do this anymore. They have to resort to the actual by law, and these kids are now protected. It's really disgusting when you have to issue things like this because you have psychos that have no moral or empathy type of compass to really stop from doing this. So this is a good thing. Like to see it. We'll see where this takes us in the next going into the future, and what this case brings out, because it's already been a pretty crazy deal so far the past few months that I've been covering this. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends.